3 states and 3.
Washington, Oregon, Idaho. We just drove into Utah.
Oh, I forgot Oregon.
Welcome to
4.
Utah. Well, that makes 4. That does make 4.
Guess we can't count anymore.
And she's still driving.
Driving.
Dog's still sleeping.
Still sleeping.
And they're still farming. Yep.
Starting to get some rise out here.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of scrub brush terrain, sagebrush terrain, and then all of the low areas are just beautiful farmlands. And looks like they are making a bunch of actual food up in this land, as opposed to like wine and stuff. Rockies are starting to rear up to our left here. I don't know how much it'll pick it up, and the top is up in the clouds, but they are already straight up and down. So and we have reached the edge of water, so I believe we're at the top end of the Great Salt Lake.
It's because you can't drown in the Salt Lake. So, but there were these big, beautiful resorts. I mean, just beautiful. And there were every block, all the way around the Salt Lake. It was the heyday of probably the 60s, you know, the end of the 60s. Maybe 65, 66, something like that. And resorts were in, and family vacation traveling was in. And now, Salt Lake is empty. And you're driving around and you just look out there and you see the Great Salt out there. Nothing, no water. But now I wonder, where are those resorts? Wouldn't you love to metal detect where those resorts were? How to drive around the lake, and why, where are the roads that used to take us there? Where are they? Where's their footprint? They didn't remove it. They may have removed the buildings or let them fall to the ground. But to metal detect those resorts would be amazing. It's like a gold mine just sitting there.
Salt Lake City, and we are heading out on 84 through this incredible gorge. It's rainy, it's crazy, and we're doing 80 miles an hour in a caravan, so we can't lose each other. But yeah, not too many outside shots, and we will be stopping at some cool places ahead in this adventure. For right now, it is traveling and making some distance, and I'm just trying to show you the cool details that I see along the way. So I hope it's somewhat entertaining. If you're like me, then you just like to see parts of the world that you haven't seen or haven't seen in a while. So continue to bring you little visions of stuff as we go along. It is fall time. As you can see, it's autumn. And we have beautiful colors out, and the Rocky Mountains are gorgeous. The geology and the minerals are insane. The tunnels, the trains running through here. So she just drove 3,000 miles across Canada. Wow, look at these colors. On the Alaska-Canadian Highway, so that's all quartz that you see running through the rocks, and minerals and veins. We are on a journey. We're on a journey of great distances. Not just a distance of the geologic space that we're going to be traveling over, but a distance in life and experience. For me, this is my longest journey across the United States of America since I was about 9 years old. For the family members that I'm traveling with, this is a part of their lives where they are rotating everything, changing everything, transitioning everything from extremes, from one almost end of a continent to another. Complete life changes, and with that, the timing has been autumn, harvest time here in the whole of the United States. The leaves falling, the plants changing, the colors, the snow falling on their footsteps as they left the far north. The colors changing as we travel. There's going to be a lot of distances, a lot of stopping and exploring. There are some definite plans for some treasure hunting ahead on this journey. This video series, this entire thing, which is going to take 2 or 3 weeks of real time, is probably going to be broken up into multiple videos. We might be mixing in videos from before we left and some other things like mail calls and stuff like that that we need to incorporate so that they do not fall too far behind. And you are invited to just sit back, enjoy the scenery. At first there's going to be a lot of traveling, and then as the journey goes along we get to stop, we get to hang out, explore around the Gulf of Mexico, and then head back across the land, and the plan being to rock hunt and explore and metal detect and look for all kinds of treasures. and I will be trying to use my eyes and my camera and all of my senses to capture and share with you things, hoping that you can enjoy them vicariously. That's part of what we're trying to do here at the Quest for Details, for sure. First thing that strikes me about traveling across this landscape is the size of the geology, the strata, the layers of each, the different minerals running down through these mountains. California, our layers are all jumbled up, cracked and broken. We have an entire oceanic plate which is subducting, sliding under the plate that our continent sits upon. This causing massive upheavals, folding, the land looking like literally a giant accordion, folded and folded and folded, and then we are also a massive accretion zone. So as pieces come off of that plate, they stick to the edge of the continent and form more land. So our mountain ranges of the coastal range end up being just huge masses of layers of life, of oceanic life, and layers of sediment from the bottom of the ocean lifted up, crumpled up, and globbed onto the edge basically. And one area can be totally tilted different than the other. All the layers of strata totally at an opposing angle to the others. And what you see here in these states tends to be flat strata. It reminds me of Butte County in California as you get over to the base of the Sierras where the folding did not occur. And there, like here, you have intrusions you can sense Yellowstone up above and her great rivers and the glaciation of the north having affected all of this. But the layers here are flat. They're consistently from one side of a canyon to the other flat, uniform, and you can see how the original pioneers of geography could start to formulate their theories and their assertions on how everything was laid down by looking across this landscape, being able to drive over such a vast distance and find the same unchanged layer somewhere else. And so this must have really added to the evolution of our knowledge of how everything works. Making some time today. It's only 12:56.
That's good time.
Of course, we're going back in time too. We're forward. I think we're traveling forward. Jumped out at a rest spot. It wasn't even really an official rest spot, but on the side of the road happened to be a chalk bluff, and it has a bunch of either flint or chert or agate, whatever you want to classify it as. We're going to look at it up close here in a second, and I will put that footage in here with this load cleaned up. But yeah, out here in these chalk bluffs I saw a lot of sedimentary rock, so that was a lucky little pass there for sure. So we did some rockhounding, woohoo, and yeah, got the dogs walked all at once. So let me go ahead and show you some beauty shots of these all cleaned up, and then we will get back to the current adventure. This trip came up semi-unexpectedly. Throughout the month before it, I had communicated with my uncle and my mom, and she was already scheduled to travel along on this journey. So as many hands could come along to help were needed, They were bringing their entire rest of their life that was not moved already, and their dogs and everything else across the country, and going to stop by some pretty cool spots, as well as stop by the places where they grew up, hometowns where they were born and raised. I decided that it was something that I couldn't miss. I decided that it was something worth taking work off and getting behind in my bills and everything. And that's basically what both me and my mom are doing on this trip. Both of us have to work. She's, of course, approached her 70s, and I am 46 years old, and neither of us have real retirement or anything. But she took this summer to travel. At this point, she's been on the road for 4 months. As you're watching the footage, by the end of it, it's a 5-month road trip. Starting in California, traveling north all the way up to Alaska, out to Homer, out to Anchor Point, flying all the way up to Barrow, all the way back, all the way down to Wasilla, Alaska, and then driving her car through Canada to meet me at the Seattle airport. And now we are traveling across the entire country, basically to the border of Alabama and Florida. This will mark the first time that she hasn't been at work for more than a few months without having injury in the last 30 or 40 years. No exaggeration. Alaska is where her remaining siblings have lived for the last 30 plus years. So since I was about 10 years old, she has taken multiple trips up there, and I have taken trips up there, and my sister has taken trips up there. And now things are changing, and so we are accompanying those changes and helping to facilitate it, hopefully, in any way that we can. And so when they offered me a ticket to jump on an airplane and jump on this crazy caravan, I went ahead and let everybody that I could know that I was taking off an adventure threw all of my gear that I could fit in my bag, and headed for the airport. And here we are. So we're in Wyoming. We stopped at Little America, and yeah. We're headed off into the east. We're trying to cross as much of Wyoming as we can. We're headed out to
Cheyenne
area, and yeah, we're in a storm and it's getting dark, so there won't be much filming after this for this day. So thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you tomorrow. And she's still driving.